watching. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make this Glam Mosaic pumpkin. I'm using this Rust-Oleum white satin pigment primer to cover the image on this canvas that I already had on hand. And I didn't really like the design anymore, and it doesn't go with my decor, so I decided to cover it up and reuse it. So use and reuse items that you already have in your home. That's a good way to redecorate without having to spend a lot of money. Next, I printed this pumpkin image from Google, and I used it as a guide to draw a pumpkin on my canvas. So first I measured vertically and horizontally to determine my center point. I wanted the pumpkin to be as centered as possible, so I made several marks along the way just to make sure that everything was pretty centered and I didn't end up with the pumpkin that was kind of off-centered or too small for the canvas. So that is what I'm doing here. I am just drawing out the pumpkin, kind of sketching it out. I do draw another couple lines on the bottom and the top just to kind of give myself an idea of how tall I want the pumpkin to be. And this took me a while, a little bit of trial and error. As you will see in the video, I am no artist by any means, so I was using the picture as a reference, but I did end up making it a little bigger than the picture, so I ended up with like more of the half circle shapes of the pumpkin. And like I said, I go back and forth, I erase the lines and I reshape them as I go along just to make it as large as possible. This project, it's not necessarily difficult, it is just time consuming to get everything done. So I did complete this in several days because I just did a little bit at a time after work, as you know, time allowed. So just be patient with it and you'll be happy with the results. For this next part, you're going to want to be very, very careful. So you're going to need some gloves, safety glasses, and I got both of these from the Dollar Tree. So you'll want to take this outside or protect your surface and just go at it with a hammer to shatter your mirror. So now that I have all the shattered pieces of mirror, I am going to place them wherever they fit best. It's kind of like a puzzle. You're putting a puzzle together. And also, I had these scraps of mirror that I shattered from a previous project. So again, just use whatever you have laying around. Sometimes you'll have mirrors that break. Just don't throw them out. You can always use that for some type of mosaic project. So now it's time to glue all these pieces together, and you're going to want to use a mirror glue so it doesn't damage your mirror. Here I'm just using a little wooden stick, one of those popsicle sticks, just to be able to pick up these small pieces and add the glue to the back of them without getting too much on there. The final step is going to be grouting. Now you're going to want to use unsanded grout. I mean, you can use sanded grout. It's just easier with the unsanded because you don't have to be extra careful that you do not scratch the mirror. Just mix the water with the sand or with the grout per the directions, and I mean, I kind of eyeballed it, to be perfectly honest. And I've never done this, but I do know that it does have to be somewhat of a thicker consistency. So I just kept adding more of the grout to it until I felt it was thick enough. Next, you're just going to get that grout mixture and just start piling it on top of your design. And there's really no rhyme or reason to this other than you want to make sure that you get the gaps of mirror, like you want to get enough grout in between the gaps, and also make sure that you cover your entire canvas. And once you have done that, you're going to want to smooth it out. You want to make it as smooth as possible, and also you are going to want to remove the excess grout from on top of your mirror. Before the grout was completely dried, I did take this very fine glitter and just sprinkled it all over the canvas just to give it a little bit of more glitz to it. I let the initial layer of grout on top of the mirror dry for like a few minutes, and then I went back with a wet paper towel and soon realized that that was a bad idea and moved on to a cotton rag that I used to remove all the left residue of the grout from the mirror. Now, I did struggle with this a little bit because I probably left a little too much, so when you're doing this, make sure that you remove as much as possible so that you don't have a thick film of grout that you have to work through. And this is the finished look, guys. I hope you guys love it as much as I do, and stay tuned for more DIY videos. So if you're new, please subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Bye!